right? When you say vertical search, you're not really in vertical search. For the search guys, there's this constant barrage of news about who's bigger. Is that really important? I mean, yesterday we had a really good speaker talking, one of the new kids on the block. He's got a business of referral using social networks. So it's not about millions, it's about maybe getting 500 of your friends and friends of friends to make a referral. And wow, if you got a referral from a few hundred friends of a good agent, you probably get a pretty good agent versus, and is this a world of, you know, smaller is better, which Jerry Brown used to talk about?
I think if you, you know, the argument out bigger is a bit like the argument that home prices are going to fall 5% next year. It's kind of negative. Well, home prices are going to fall 5% next year. So,
right.
So there's a national story which is relevant, but a lot of the local story is more relevant, and it's also about quality as well. You know, you can have a very large audience. You know, Craigslist is much larger than any company up here, but it may not actually generate any business for you or for real estate sales. So I think it's a very hard question to answer.
Yeah, I think if you use a newspaper analogy, circulation is important. But if the newspaper sits on the doorstep and then goes to the recycling bin, then does circulation matter? And so we do focus on circulation, but we're actually more focused on engagement. So in other words, not just about how many people come to the site, but when they come to the site, how long do they stay? How many pages do they look at? Because engagement is actually what translates into that ability to make a connection with the advertiser, with the realtor, and that's really the value that we're trying to deliver. So for us, the biggest metric is engagement, although reach, circulation does matter.
Spencer, now you guys cut a deal with Yahoo, right? When did that happen?
Well, it goes into effect next month. It actually launches in February when Zillow will power Yahoo Real Estate's
Oh, you haven't got the
listings.
benefit of that yet.
Hasn't launched yet.
Wow.
So we'll power the listings of homes for sale on Yahoo Real Estate, and we'll start selling their advertising for Yahoo Real Estate.
So what do you think about the traffic rates? Is it important or not?
I agree with the sentiment that these guys have shared, but I do think it's important. I mean, scale is important for a media company. If you're an agent or a broker and you're trying to decide which website or websites do you work with, do you spend your time on, do you spend money with, do you send your listings to, etc., you want it to be big. And you want it to be big because, and I definitely agree with Errol in this sense, you want it to be big because you want it to be meaningful to your business. And so it is about engagement. It is about whether that site has real buyers. About 2/3 of Zillow's users say they're in the market today or in the very near future. So, you know, sometimes people say, oh, Zillow's traffic is not engaged, but it's just not true. I mean, we have serious buyers using Zillow. So
let me ask you a question. If each of you defend why, if I was a realtor, I should spend $1 with you versus your competitors, what do you uniquely provide that the ROI on that dollar is going to be better, truly, than Realtor.com or whatever? Just, I'll start with you.
Start with me, the odd guy up here.
Well, it's kind of, I think you have the easiest way to.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it really is about providing. So we are different. You know, I don't look at these guys as competitors, although we do help. One of the things we do for our real estate customers is we do help them generate leads. So in that way, we're out there and trying to get consumers to engage on our real estate brokerage company sites, in addition to or rather than the real estate portals. But other than that, we're about software, and the value proposition for our customers is instead of, you know, going after every cool new, you know, piece of software or technology that comes along, which is fun and exciting, we're delivering an integrated platform for a brokerage company so that an agent logs in once and they can control their website. They can see every consumer that comes in. They can turn them into leads. They can manage those leads via their CRM. They can even go through to transaction management, building their marketing and sales presentations and so on. So it's all in one place.
So you see yourselves as a software provider extended to agents?
We are a software company to the real estate industry. Really, more and more of our revenue is coming from the brokerage companies. We have north of 1,000 brokerage companies and teams that are using our software. We have 80,000 plus agents now. It'll be 90,000 plus agents soon with a recent deal we've announced with Keller Williams. So it is about software. And if you look out at other industries and even across industries, software is something that consolidates. It's a challenging world when people are logging into 4 and 5 systems a day, and I think we've gotten used to it in the real estate industry.
So you're trying to win that that space of the software provider for real estate agents.
Absolutely.
And that's a big part of your top producer. No, is it top producer?
Top producer, yeah.
That's a core asset of you guys. Does that compete with Ian here?
We do compete in that space. I think if I was going to say what's the core value of Realtor.com, versus the competition, I think that first is this really engaged audience. So if you look at ComScore, we probably have on our network, it depends on the month, seasonality, we have probably about 450 million page views a month on our network. Zillow, Yahoo combined has maybe about 150. So we believe that we have a very big engaged audience.
Right.
Last night, we announced that we'll be exclusively powering AOL real estate. So we just signed that deal. And the reason we did the deal with AOL...
Are they still around?
No, they're still around. You know what's funny is if you look what Tim Armstrong is doing there, I mean, he's actually
I'm
reinventing this company.
See if the strategy works, but I'm impressed he's trying.
What's interesting about the real estate audience is it's really engaged.
Yeah.
And that's why we did the deal. Same thing, lots of page views, lots of metrics.
Now let me ask you, I just got to ask you, because some folks are catching up, is that why you're emphasizing engagement now? Do you worry that you're not the top dog in traffic?
We actually,
you are.
We believe we are the top dog in traffic, but it's not just search, it's also engagement. The other thing I think that's important when we talk to realtors is what we do with the content we provide. We make sure that the content's accurate. So we're updating the listings every 15 minutes. If there's a price change, we get it on the site. You don't have old, stale listings. And so we're actually helping represent the content that they're providing us. And we're making sure that we use that content in a way that is friendly. So we're not putting competitors' ads on the realtors' listings and so on. So we think we can give sort of the best of both worlds, which is big audience, lots of engagement, new mobile apps, but also treating the data with the appropriate due care and respect.
Harold, what's your biggest revenue source inside that $200 million pie? Where is that?
Realtor.com is the biggest business, and then the second biggest business is top producer.
And that's like enhanced listings, advertising, and then
lead generation,
gotcha,
marketing services, yeah.
Spencer.
So your question was if you had $1 to spend, why Zillow? So
I got off my question.
I'd say for brokers, firstly, I'd first say you should make sure your listings are on Zillow for free. And that's a fundamental difference between, say, the Realtor.com model and the Zillow model, where...
Well, that's not true. Your listings on our site for free as well.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
You sell photos, right? You take a listing with 4 photos, and then you charge the broker to have all the photos. All your photos on Zillow, or Truly for that matter, for free. So it's a fundamental difference between our listing strategy. And the reason that brokers tend to spend money with Zillow is because we have a lot of flexibility. So we have as many different types of broker ad products as there are brokers. There's some brokerages that want featured listings, sort their listings to the top, get more exposure for the listings. There's some that want display advertising on mobile. There's some that want to target agents for recruiting and retention. There's some that want their leads centrally so that they can scrub them through their internet data. There are all different ways that we work with brokerages. So I guess the key theme for brokers, I'd say, is flexibility. For agents, it's about competitive advantage relative to competition. Zillow's ad products for agents are, again, different from Realtor and I think Truly, in that we advantage a small handful of agents relative to others. So we have a finite amount of inventory, a finite amount of client contacts, and we send them to a finite amount of potential advertisers.
Pete, $1. What I...
So the fundamental reason is quite frankly it works. So it's, when you speak to agents and brokers, the thing they care about is, does the phone ring? Do I get an email in my inbox when someone is wanting to buy or sell a house? And that's what we do. So consumers come to our site, they're very engaged, we have a bunch of tools, and our goal is to connect them with real estate agents. So, that's a great deal for brokers and agents, and that's why they buy.
Cool. How about some questions from the audience? 4 smart guys, huh? It's impressive. Come on, anybody? Here we go.
My name is Vince Bodo from Massachusetts, and I wonder if maybe you can tell us, per impression, how many leads do you generate?
Do we need to clarify impression? Does everybody have that down?
I don't know exactly, but hundreds and hundreds of thousands, and many, many more we don't track. So it's huge. Certainly from what we hear from brokers and agents, is many more than Zillow. I don't know about those.
We hear just the opposite. That's weird.
What do you think, Spencer?
We don't, for competitive reasons, disclose how many contacts we think we send to agents and brokers. If you're interested in buying a zip code, if you're an agent, I'd be happy to talk to you about that afterwards. If you're a broker,